Anime and depression have long intertwined history. Let's be honest, most anime, manga, and even light novels are fueled by it. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a literal metaphor for clinical depression. Attack on Titan, at its core, school shooter fantasy. But with Season 4, ReZero stands entirely above the fray. We are officially back to Season 2 level madness. For the past few weeks, the internet has been flooded with TikTok edits giving Subaru Natsuki the Sigma male treatment for the Watchtower stairs scene. But if you look at this scene and just see an aura monster, you are missing the point. This isn't a power fantasy flex. This is an exploration of Imposter Syndrome on steroids. As I'm aging out of my teen angst, the last remnants of my caffeine-enlarged heart pumps with one sincere wish. Please let us have no more amnesia arcs. This was incredibly painful to witness. For context, I despise mistaken identity tropes. I literally walk out of the cinema if those moments occur. Characters drinking a polyjuice potion to trick someone. No thanks, I'm out. I hate secondhand anxiety. But this arc was probably the first time in my life I sat completely glued to a mistaken identity plotline. Why? Because Tappei Nagatsuki doesn't use amnesia as a cheap reset button. He uses it to trigger what clinical psychologists call the burden of competence. The true horror of these recent episodes isn't a physical monster, it's the suffocating weight of social debt. Think about it. Amnesiac Subaru wakes up surrounded by people who look at him with absolute reverence. Amelia relies on him. Beatrice sees him as her fated contractor. Julius respects him as an equal. To them, he is the legendary Natsuki Subaru, the man who felled the white whale and crushed the Sin archbishops. But inside, he is a helpless kid. Psychologists note that high achievers often suffer from attributional bias, feeling like frauds who just got lucky. But Subaru's situation is a horrifying mutation of this. He doesn't just feel like a fraud. He literally has no memory of earning those titles. He has inherited a massive social contract he doesn't remember signing. Subaru simply wants to survive. He wants to figure out who he is without the crushing burden of this monumental legacy. But everyone around him keeps projecting their expectations onto him. To be dependable means people depend on you. To be trustworthy means people trust you. The pressure to live up to the ghost of his former self is literally driving him insane. Until his mind violently rejects the pressure. In psychology, severe imposter syndrome can trigger a vicious fight-or-flight response when the anxiety of being found out by your loved ones becomes unbearable. You want to destroy the relationships before they can reject you. He wants to kill the very people who impose this heroic identity on him. The aura monster isn't a boss asserting dominance. It's a cornered, terrified animal baring its teeth. Ask yourself this: what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and everyone you loved looked at you like a savior, but you knew deep down you were a complete fake? Would you feel powerful, or would you feel the skin-crawling, suffocating dread that at any moment they're going to realize you're a fraud? When you look at this iconic Volume 23 light novel illustration that White Fox so beautifully brought to life, look closer. Contrast the dark, menacing miasma swirling around him with the complete lack of control he has over his mind. We celebrate this as an aura moment on Twitter, but it's actually the complete shattering of a human psyche. It's the horror of having your identity defined entirely by how useful you are to other people and realizing your bank account is utterly empty. This is exactly what makes the current arc a masterpiece of dark fantasy. We spent 3 seasons watching Subaru claw his way up from zero, building a hard-earned identity. Now, Season 4 strips it all away, leaving 2 versions of Subaru, the ghost of a hero that lives in his friends' minds, and the terrified boy who has to somehow live up to him. ReZero has always been a story about someone who uses his inability to give up as his own weapon. But this time, he has to look at the ledger of social debt he's collected and choose if those relationships are worth the excruciating pain of rebuilding himself. So, as we head into the finale of this core, reframe how you watch these episodes. Stop looking for aura points. Start looking at the tragedy of a boy suffocating under the weight of his own legend. It was agonizing to watch, but it proves why ReZero is the smartest psychological thriller on television right now.